Hello and welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to be doing a black and white conversion on this picture of the Liver building in Liverpool, shot from the Mersey ferry. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get out and do any landscape photography recently, so I thought instead I'll do a black and white conversion on this picture. As you can see, I've already post-processed it and the colours really aren't that inspiring, but I think it could look quite good as a high contrast monochrome. So first thing I'm going to do is create a virtual copy of it, then I've always got this original to refer back to. So I'll just right click on there, go down to create virtual copy, and we're in the develop mode, so I'm now working on my copy. So what I tend to do is go into my color settings and a black and white mix based on that. As you can see, still pretty drab, but it gives us our starting point. So what I'm looking to achieve on this is it's all about contrast. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to the basic panel. I'm just going to reset those whites and it looks even flatter now. But I'll pull up the contrast, about 30 I think. And the clarity, same amount, 30. We're already starting to make an impression on it. Now, next thing I'm going to do is go to tone curve, and I'm going to select a strong contrast tone curve in addition to those contrast and clarity. As you can see, we really now have got some significant contrast going on. Overall though, I feel that this area here is too dark. So I'm going to work on that in a moment. But before I do that, what I want to do is to get the sky right. So I'm going to go to a grad filter. I'm going to hold the shift key so that when I drag it down it stays horizontal. I'm going to want a relatively soft grad on that. So I'm going to pull it down to about there. Gives me a lot more punch in the sky. The downside of that, as you can see, the towers on the main building I've now gone far too dark. So what I'm going to do is select a brush, erase, make sure my auto mask is selected. That will allow me to brush around these edges and have it only stay within the area that I want to remove the mask from. So I'll just get my brush size a little bigger, and I'll also add the mask overlay so you can see what I'm up to. So I'll just brush over here, and as you can see it's getting rid of that masking. Getting rid of the grad filter over the building where I don't want it to have any effect. That should pretty much do it. So if we take the mask off, and that looks much better. So now I've got the sky darkened down. I've got the sort of levels of contrast that I want. I will be making an overall exposure adjustment in a moment, but first I just want to pull in the edges a little bit with a vignette, about there I think. And now we go back to, let's just close that filter panel, go back to our basic panel. Now we can finalize our exposure. So when I bring that up, about a stop I think we'll be looking at. No, that's definitely too bright. Come down a bit more. Yeah, happy with that. And then I'll just go back to that filter, and of course because we've already erased around there, we can now play with this and it won't affect those towers. I'll bring the sky down a wee bit more. That's pretty good. Now you'll see that the blacks are clipped at the bottom here, and to find out where they're clipped, and it's pretty obvious that it's over here, but let's just hold the Alt key and check the extent to which it's clipped. Just click on there. Yeah, it's minimal. I would quite like to make this area of sky a bit darker as well, because it's a bit overpowering, like that. If we come down, and you'll see that the erase that I did over the towers still applies. There is now a little bit of darkening down here, so I'll just quickly grab a much bigger brush and just to whiz over that area, get rid of that darkening there, That's better. That area there was really too bright and was dominating the image too much. That's better. So we've got that real punch in the sky. We've got all the intricacy of the buildings nicely picked out by the contrast that we've applied. And in fact, we could even bring the contrast up just a tiny bit more. That's great. So right click, and we're going to edit in Photoshop CC, and we're going to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Command J, create a new layer. Go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Just drag this out of the way so we can see. And what we're looking at is, you can see all the edges here where it's going to be affected, and I think we could probably go up to 2 pixels now. I don't ever want to get to the stage where it looks ludicrous or where I get halos appearing around the edges, but that looks pretty good. So I'm going to OK that and then change the blend mode to overlay. And I'm willing to bet if I switch that sharpening layer off, you can't really see that much of a difference, but it just works really nicely as far as the detail goes, particularly around all these little details on the architecture and the windows, etc. And there's our finished picture. And if we compare it with what we started with, which was this, as you can see, pretty dull, not really much going on, and we've made it monochrome and really given it a nice punch. So that's how I would do a black and white treatment. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hopefully I'll be out and about again soon doing some landscape stuff, but in the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you again.